Necessarily see when the monthly government report comes out.
The overall unemployment rate is 4.3%. In the last year, it's barely moved. But take a look at what's happening with black women. Their unemployment rate has jumped to 6.7%. In tonight's Question Everything, why are black women losing jobs at such a high rate? WBZ's Courtney Cole shows us experts are blaming 3 factors.
Tell me when you were laid off. So formally as of April of this year.
Fajani Cadet's experience is all too familiar right now. A highly educated black professional who's now unemployed and worried about her future.
The anxiety of the uncertainty of what comes next.
Cadet was the director of diversity and inclusion for a global research and advisory firm. And that's one of the factors behind more than 300,000 black women leaving the workforce between February and April. Corporate America's retreat from DEI.
It's been really disheartening.
Abba Taylor is the president and CEO of YW Boston, an organization dedicated to creating more inclusive work environments.
Long-term career women in the federal government suddenly just being told they need to go for no reason.
She highlights a second factor, small businesses cutting back.
Small businesses are really being impacted by the tariff policies.
And the third factor, the layoffs in the federal government. There are more black women working for the federal government than in the private sector.
This is a 5-alarm fire.
That's why Representative Ayanna Pressley is using this letter to voice her concerns to Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors.
What I'm calling on the Fed to do is to collect the data, to analyze the data, and to come up with a plan. 300,000 black women have been pushed out of the labor force in the public and private sector, and that is a crisis.
She wants a response from the Fed no later than September 30th.
Black women have always been an economic indicator. We have been the canaries in the coal mine. So it is advantageous, and economists will support this, for us to better understand exactly what is happening to black women and then do something about it.
YW Boston isn't waiting for the federal government to help. Talk to me about
All right, Shalom. First thing first, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, those who rule well and who I learned this truth from. Salutation to the brothers stiffly pushing this one truth at all sincerity and diligence, risking your lives and freedoms to do so. Shalom to the rest of the elect as we all await the second Exodus coming quickly by the hands of Lord Yahweh Shah. All right, this is your brother Rakaga Bar, and we'll be touching on this video. All right, why are black women losing jobs at such a high rate? All right, and I played a portion of the video for you. You see that, 300,000 black women lost jobs. I believe they said between March and April, or February and April. Okay, and, they had a higher unemployment rate than the national average, which is crazy. But, ultimately, we're in them times, we understand that the Lord, all right, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, okay, is restoring order to the planet Earth, man. Because, we live in a day and age where women, have compassed a man, all right, and, the story of the scriptures revolve around the Israelites, and the Edomites, okay? The protagonists being the Israelites and the antagonists being Esau, man. And ultimately, the Lord has been, judging his people, the Israelites, for going off, for committing idolatry, for following the ways of the heathen, believing the ways of the heathen. And we've been getting fucked up because of that. All right. And, these, the so-called black woman has bitten of that apple. All right. She's bitten of that apple, man, which means what? The ways of the white man. All right. Feminism, women's empowerment. All right, the whole "I don't need a man" movement, yada yada yada. They fell for that hook, line, and sinker, man. And I'm doing this lesson because through the Spirit, the reason they losing jobs at such a high rate is because of the Heavenly Father, man. You know, Yahweh Bashim Shah said that he would lay the lofty looks of the proud low. Okay, roughly paraphrasing. All right, which, you know, our women have become proud beyond measure, man, to the point to where they really don't think they need a man, and they'll do everything in their power to not have one, for the most part. You know, if the shoe fit, wear it. Okay, but for the majority of our nation of women, especially, you know, these corporate women, black women are the ones that you know, have some type of degree. You know, they think that they've made it. Well, the Lord is showing you, man, that you know, this current lifestyle you've been able to live, he's taking it away from you. All right, and it's the reason why you know, all these black women are popping up unemployed, and really, you know, now it's gonna be the time for y'all to go ahead and try to humble completely down, man. You know, that's really what's happening, man. If you don't humble down from this, the Lord is showing you that, yeah, man, it's about to get very, very, very hard out here. Okay, and we know a lot of you single mothers, all right, you're gonna take the chip, okay, because over there in the UK, you know, they got the digital ID becoming mandatory, which that's not the chip, all right, but or that's not the mark of the beast, okay, but you know, they say you won't be able to work in the UK without the digital ID. So, you know, when this squeeze begins to hit, and you know, you women, you single women, you single mothers, all right, you baby mamas find it hard to put food on your table for your children. What are you gonna do, man? A lot of you are gonna take the chip, okay? A lot of you are gonna take the chip, okay? A handful of you, you know, will be part of Isaiah 4:1, because your spirit will have been, you know, you've been humbled, and then a lot of you are just gonna be fucking assed out, all right? Because you know, you played the harlot, all right, in more ways than one. But let's grab this, Isaiah 32:9. It says, "Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech." Okay, and our women have been at ease for far too long, man. Okay, you know, believing you don't need a man, and ultimately shitting on masculinity. All right, that's now you're going to see why that's to your detriment, because it's going to be a shameful thing to be unmarried, you know, in these days. All right. And one of the reasons is because now you have to do it all on your own. And when you get laid off, who you going to turn to, man? You know, that's why a lot of these women are going back to living with their parents, you know, or whatever the case may be, because, you know, they didn't want a man around. All right. So now they got to go back to living with their parents and shit, man. All right. But the Lord is taking away that ease of life. You can see society has slowed down drastically, man. All right. It ain't the whole, you know, rumble and bustle, you know, pre-2020. All right. You know, the clubs and shit ain't even popping like it used to, man. All right. You know, small businesses are continuing to shut down. Tariffs are fucking everybody up. You know, people can't make ends meet because of the cost of shit is continuing to surge. So now the Lord is bringing a humbling, man. It says many days. It says, "Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women." And a lot of our women are careless, man. All right, it tells you in Amos, "Thy wife should be a harlot in the streets." Roughly paraphrasing. Let me grab that real quick. And that's what majority of a lot of these so-called black women are, man. Because they, you know, they play the field, you know, they hop from dick to dick, you know, can't hold a relationship down, and they end up, you know, becoming a harlot. But Amos 7:17, it says, "Therefore thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be a harlot in the city." See? "And thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and thy land shall be divided by line. And thou shalt die in a polluted land, and Israel shall surely go into captivity forth of his land." All right, which that's all happened. Okay, and our women, you know, have become those harlots, man, and that goes into biting of that apple. You know, women's empowerment, feminism, my body, my choice, Planned Parenthood. You see, feminism. See, all of that has been a poison, man. You know, it may have tasted sweet initially. You know, you may have bitten to that apple initially, all right, and everything seemed fine and dandy, but now you realize it was poison. Okay, and now it's time to suffer the consequences for your actions, man. All right. Okay, it says, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, and the gathering shall not come, going into the food supply. You know, the vintage, okay, the victuals, right? Right, the harvest, okay? But that's going into the food, and we know that we're on the brink of a famine, man. Everything that's been going out, you know, all the information been going out revolving that, you know, the farmers, okay, droughts, all right, the whole tariffs, the trade wars is going to play a large part in that, man. So, you know, we're in very, very dire times, man. And a lot of you women are going to be, you're going to be hopeless, man. Quite honestly, you know, this be the time to humble completely down, you know, start trying to find sister wives, you know, really, you know, try to, you know, get up with a man of the Lord, all right, and accept and understand the fact you're going to have sister wives, man, because, I mean, quite honestly, you know, I bet a lot of women would be cool with having sister wives now just because it's hard to do it on your own, man. You know, that pride is what the Lord is what's the word I want to use? He's eradicating it. Okay, that pride, man. All right. Now it say, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins, which represents what? Mourning. All right, it represents being in a mournful state, because now you see that times are not, you know, these are not, you know, good times, man. Okay, these are not good times anymore. And we're in very uncertain times for a lot of people, man. Okay, people are getting laid off. People getting replaced by AI. They're doing away with the whole DEI initiative. So that's, you know, caused a lot of the, you know, these women to get laid off, you know, and not just women, but hey, that's who reports has largely affected a lot of black women, man. And that's why they said, why are black women losing jobs at such a high rate? And not only did this lesson because, you know, we've been talking about this for a while when the report first came out. You know, over 300,000 black women lost their jobs, but, you know, it popped up again. So, you know, this is a continuing thing, man. It says, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teat, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Yeah, you're going to lament for good times, man. You know, you're going to wish, you know, that good times were back on the earth, you know, when you could, you know, go out, you know, clubbing, right? Which really, you know, going into the food, but it's, you know, also just the good times in general, man. The mirth is dying out. Okay. The economy is failing. That's why people are losing jobs left and right. All right. And we've been warning you, all right, that this day would come. All right. Okay. And that's it. That's the point on that. All right. That's, you know, what I wanted to grab from that, man. But yeah. Okay, you can see that it's not looking too hot. Let me play a little bit more. Salakia.
There is a red flag in the job market that you don't necessarily see when the monthly government report comes out.
All right, the overall unemployment.
All right, I'm not going to start it all the way over. I can't look like I can't fast forward it, but you know, that's pretty much the point, man. You know, I'm going to end it off there. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, DT Wa Baba Ball, Shalom.